going to dice an onion. That's always good to know. I'm just going to put a little olive oil in the pot. And you've just heard all the virtues of olive oil.
Not even a tenth of the virtues of olive oil, but a couple of them.
Yet.
I'm just setting this off to the side for you.
Great, thank you.
Oh, I forgot to put the pepper in the salad. Put pepper in it too if you want.
Yeah.
Fresh grinded, but don't use that stuff that you just toss in. Anytime you can use fresh herbs.
So I'm cutting off the end away from the root. I'm going to cut through it. Let me just switch knives. Wait, oh, this is okay. I was thinking it wasn't very sharp. Peel back the skin part, which is, don't need that. It's been protecting it against all the little bugs as it grows. We like to recommend that most of the root vegetables that we use are produced organically because of the high pesticide residue. Then I'm going to cut in a pretty much slightly angled line straight down to the board, almost all the way through to the root end. Now this is a beautiful big onion. Just going to turn this up a bit. And again, as Kathy was saying, we like to do things assembly line style. If you find that onions, particularly at this time of the year before the new season onions are in the market, they tend to make you cry. So if you have that problem, put them in the fridge about 10 to 15 minutes before you cut them, and that will reduce the allyl sulfites from escaping and making you cry. But do not keep them in the refrigerator. Now I'm going to cut across. If you keep them in the refrigerator, the texture becomes sort of porous, and it's not very nice. Now we don't have to worry too much about how fantastically we cut these onions. I might just get those into the pot. We want it to sizzle. Yes.
Hey.
Sizzle.
Love that sound.
So we're developing a delicious caramelization. There's quite a lot of sugar in onions.
Good sugar.
Good sugar, right. So, and this is more than a cup and a half, but if you've got a big onion and you don't have another purpose for it, go for it. Use the whole thing. Or if you want to put it aside for something else, at this point, by all means refrigerate it, but just don't store them in the refrigerator. Also, don't store them near your potatoes, because one will increase the deterioration of the other. And store them out of the light in a cool, airy spot. So there we have our fabulous onions. So we're just going to speed this process up so that you're not here for all the minutes that it takes. No, normally that they would saute for 5 minutes, so let's pretend that happened. So now in goes the garlic. If you chop your garlic up a little in advance, you get more benefits from the nutrients in it. We've just learned that. We keep, nutrition is such an evolving science. It's great to learn all these wonderful little tips to get the very, very best out of our food. Then, after that has sauteed for 5 more minutes, zoom, zoom, in goes the celery. And then we'll stir that around, and we're developing all these delicious flavors. This is cooking in the French style of layering, which is also very similar to the Asian style. Then in goes our chopped fresh ginger root. Wonderful for seasickness, for cleaning out your sinuses, it's always available in the market. Delicious.
Exactly.
So, zoom, zoom, that when all happened. And through the magic of television, we have it all. And you can see, you saw the volume that was just there. Now look, this is after it's had the increments of cooking time that you will do when you make this at home.
Lizzie, could you just tip that up a little so they can see the volume? Great.
There.
Can we get a shot?
toward
or
the
which way,
yes.
Scott? Okay.
Is that good?
Is that, yeah, thank you.
You're
really
welcome.
cooks
Thanks,
down.
Stacy. It really, really cooks down. Oops, it went off. That's back on again. Tricky little thing. So now we're going to start seasoning it. To this beautiful, warm melange of sautéed vegetables, we're going to add some curry powder. This is a wonderful way to just slightly cook the curry powder without too much liquid to bring up the flavor and sort of get it into the vegetables, absorbed into the vegetables. Now we're going to add our carrots, and this is 8 carrots. They go in there, and then that gets stirred around. Carrots, fabulous source of beta-carotene, delicious, crunchy, wonderful cooked, wonderful raw. And then to that, we're going to add our 6 cups of vegetable broth. We like to look at the label, particularly for the sodium in vegetable broths. They can be really, really high. This is quite a good one, Kitchen Basics, and it is on the lower side of sodium. You can also make your own. That would be the best scenario entirely, making your own. And it really doesn't take a lot. You could sort of devote a couple of hours at a weekend once every few months, and you can have some fabulous homemade chicken and vegetable stock. Now I'm going to add just 1/4 cup of long grain rice. And we do choose the white rice. This amount of rice is not going to impact the benefits from the fiber. And we really want it, we don't want you having to wait, 40 minutes for this to cook when really only the vegetables only take 20 minutes. So then,
It acts as a thickener. It acts as sort of a binder to keep, instead of thickening with wheat flour or something like that, you can, the rice just sort of holds it all together.
or egg yolks, which the
Oh,
French do,
no.
we know that. We don't do that. So anyway, zoom zoom, guess what happened? Don't you love it?
Let me move that so you don't step in it.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you. And so this is all ready, and I will turn it off.
Oh, wait, can you show in the pot? So
Yes. So
that
this
right
is
here and there.
There we go. Can you see that? It's all cooked and ready to puree. And we want it warm. We don't want it steaming hot. You can use an immersion blender, which is what I'm going to do today. And then you'll get more of a country version of the soup, a little few chunks here and there. Or you can pop it in a blender, but do take care when blending hot liquids, because it can shoot up and burn you and put a stain on the ceiling and God knows what else. So I'm starting on low. I'm just going to get this into a nice, now I'm going to, since it didn't explode, I went on high. It's a great tool, really worth investing. We got this one from Gordon Foods.
Beautiful.
Wow. Just a few more little
This is a great tool, because you don't have to transfer it into another bowl and into a blender and into another thing and then back into the pot to heat it up. It really works wonderfully for soups and sauces. I make all my tomato sauce like that.
Like I said, this is a little more on the countryside. So now in goes the wonderful creamy texture of the coconut milk. And for people who are sensitive to soy milk or are lactose intolerant, this is a wonderful option. Delicious.
That's the
creamy,
reduced fat one.
That's the reduced fat one.
But the fat in coconut, which is a saturated fat, is a medium chain fat and has actually been shown to have very good health benefits. It's not atherogenic, or it doesn't cause plaque formation in your arteries.
So then we're going
Coconut
to...
used to get a bad rap.
Now this soup freezes magnificently. It is vegetarian.
Did you put the curry? Oh yeah, we guess you
Oh,
did.
I did, long ago.
I don't know what this little one is.
Oh, that was for the other one.
Bonus curry.
Bonus curry. Or did I put it in this one?
I think you did. I smelled
Yeah.
it. I think I even heard
So
somebody
now,
say they smelled it.
it's nice to do a little garnish. You could do a little swirl of, if you want to keep it dairy-free, you don't want to put the yogurt thing in there. But if you didn't want to keep it dairy-free, you could do a pretty little swirl of yogurt on top. But even just a sprinkle of cilantro there. Doesn't that look
Or
beautiful?
parsley if you hate cilantro.
Yes. Or chives.
Or
even.
chives. That's what we're going to do on the next soup.
So here we go.
It's beautiful. It's
Delicious.
delicious. It's quick. It freezes well. One of our favorite things to do is to pack soups in these type of freezable containers. They have these at Costco now, 4 or 5 or 6 for, I think 4 or 6 for $17, and they have a snap-on lid. And these can go right from the freezer into the oven or the microwave, and they're great, and they hold a pretty good size serving, so we love things like this.
We do. And I meant to show you, this is what a ginger root looks like, and you should always choose a really firm one without wrinkles, and you peel it and then chop it up, or you can just use your little microplane grater and grate it. Any questions?
Okay, I have the microphone, so I'm heading over that way.
I can just repeat it. How do you peel the ginger root? You scrape it with a little paring knife, just to get the very, very thin skin off it.
Or a little vegetable peeler works
Or a
great too.
yeah, both.
Do we have another question?